plan. Ladies and gentlemen, there comes a moment in every life where silence becomes unbearable. Plan. Not the silence around you, but the silence within, that quiet, constant ache. The voice that says, plan. This is not who I'm meant to be. And maybe you're there right now, lying in bed, plan. Not just physically tired, but tired of being tired. Scrolling, comparing, doubting, fading, plan. You say you're resting, but deep down you're hiding. From the world, from your past, from yourself. But my dear soul, plan. Just wake up, because you are better than this. You weren't born to blend in. You weren't designed to shrink, plan. The pain you carry was never meant to bury you. It was meant to build you. You're not weak because you feel lost, plan. You're not broken because you cried. That emotion, that ache, is your heart knocking, saying, please. Wake up, plan. I still believe in you. You have dreams you've put on hold, words you've silenced, talents you've buried under fear, plan. But none of that is gone. It's just waiting, plan. Waiting for you to remember who you were before the world told you who you couldn't be. You don't need a miracle, plan. You don't need a new life. You just need to wake up. Stand in the mirror and say, plan. I am tired of being a prisoner in my own story. I'm tired of surviving. I want to live. Not perfectly, not without struggle, plan, but fully, boldly, like you were meant to. And let me tell you this, you have every right to begin again, plan. Even if you've fallen 1,000 times, even if no one claps for your comeback, this is your moment, not tomorrow, not next week, plan. Now, so just wake up, because you are better than this. We often say we're tired, but when we really listen to ourselves, plan, it's not the body crying out, it's the soul. You may sleep 8 hours, take a break, sit in silence, and yet, plan, you still feel drained. Why? Because true exhaustion doesn't always come from a long day's work. It comes from pretending, plan. From performing, from carrying invisible burdens that no one else can see. You wake up tired not because your body failed you, plan, but because your heart is carrying too much that it's never had the chance to release, plan. You're tired because you've been strong for too long. You've worn a smile when your soul was aching, plan. You've shown up for everyone while secretly hoping someone would notice you were unraveling, plan. The exhaustion that follows is not the kind that can be fixed with coffee or naps. It's the kind that settles into your chest, plan. That makes you feel heavy even when you're doing nothing, plan. It's the fatigue of constantly holding yourself together. Afraid that if you fall apart, no one will know how to put you back, plan. This emotional exhaustion comes from the roles we're forced to play. The achiever, the caretaker, the perfect one, the silent one, plan. Society tells us to push through, to man up, to stay strong. But no one teaches us how to rest emotionally, plan. How to give ourselves permission to say, I'm not okay, and that's okay. So instead of healing, we hide. We distract, plan. We scroll, we suppress. And then we wonder why the emptiness deepens each morning we wake up, plan. Sometimes the heaviest thing you carry is not your schedule, your bills, plan, or your responsibilities. It's the weight of not being seen. It's the pain of not being understood, plan. It's the silent war you fight within, between who you truly are and who the world expects you to be, plan. This inner battle wears you down, not because you're weak, plan, but because you've spent too long believing that your feelings are something to apologize for. And yet, even in this exhaustion, plan, your soul whispers, wake up. Plan, you're better than this. We often tell ourselves we're taking time to heal. But deep down, we know the truth, plan. We're hiding, not because we're weak, but because we're scared. Healing is a brave process, plan, and we sometimes confuse avoidance with recovery. We shut the world out, thinking silence will restore us. Plan. But true healing doesn't happen in the shadows. It happens when we face what hurt us, when we peel back the layers of fear, shame, plan, and disappointment and dare to confront them with honesty. Hiding might feel safe, but growth demands courage, not comfort. Plan. There's a difference between protecting your peace and avoiding your pain. One brings you clarity, the other keeps you stuck. Plan. We call it taking a break, but often we're just afraid to try again. Afraid to trust, to love, to speak up. Plan. To dream again, because the last time we did, something or someone broke us. So we stay in our shell. Plan. Convincing ourselves that it's self-care when it's really self-preservation. And in doing so, plan, we miss the very moments that could help us rise. The hard conversations, the new beginnings. Plan. The fresh starts waiting just outside our fear. You say you're healing, but healing isn't passive. Plan. It's not something that happens while you scroll endlessly through your phone or build walls around your heart. Healing is active. Plan. It's messy. It's waking up on a day you don't feel like living and deciding to show up anyway. Plan. It's looking your pain in the eye and saying, you don't get to define me anymore. Hiding feels easier. Yes. Plan. But healing asks us to be raw, vulnerable, to let the wounds breathe, because wounds can't close when you keep them in the dark. Plan. The truth is, you weren't meant to stay in hiding. Plan. That place, the space between who you are and who you could be. It may feel familiar, but it's not your home. Plan. Growth doesn't happen in stillness. It happens in movement, in action, in honesty, in choosing discomfort over denial. Plan. And every time you pretend you're just resting, when you're actually running, you're not healing. You're delaying the beautiful. Plan. Messy transformation that is trying to unfold within you, because growth isn't quiet. It's bold. Plan. And it starts when you stop hiding and whisper to yourself, I'm ready. A pain has a strange way of making us quiet. Plan. It teaches us to shrink, to pull away, to stop speaking our truth. Somewhere along the line, plan, we begin to believe that if we speak about what hurt us, we're being weak, dramatic too much. So we swallow our stories. Plan. We minimize our suffering. We put on a brave face and pretend that nothing ever touched us. But the truth is, plan, the pain we carry was never meant to shut us down. It was never meant to silence us. Plan. It was sent to awaken something deeper, something stronger within us. We were taught to see pain as punishment. Plan. As something to hide, something to move on from as quickly as possible. But what if pain was actually a teacher? Plan. What if it came not to destroy us, but to transform us? Plan. Some of the most beautiful parts of who you are were born in your darkest hours. Your empathy, your compassion, your resilience. Plan. Your fire, that didn't come from comfort, that came from enduring what almost broke you and still choosing to rise. Plan. Your pain isn't your weakness, it's your becoming. When you let pain silence you, you let it win. You let it steal your voice. Plan. Your joy, your identity. But when you learn to speak from your scars, not your open wounds, plan, but the healed parts, you give others permission to do the same. Plan. You become a lighthouse for someone else who's still lost in their storm. Pain, when shared in truth, becomes power. Plan. It becomes connection. It becomes purpose. Your story, however messy or painful, matters. It is not something to be buried. Plan. It is something to be carried with strength and dignity. There is no shame in what you've survived. Plan. And there is no reason to stay silent about it. Plan. You were not meant to wear your pain like a chain around your neck. You were meant to hold it like a medal of survival, plan, of growth, of rebirth. Because pain, when honored and understood, plan, becomes the very tool that carves a deeper version of you. Wiser, stronger, kinder. You don't need to run from what broke you. Plan. You need to reclaim it and let it shape you into someone the world can't ignore. Plan. There was a time when you believed you could be anything. A time when your heart lit up at the smallest spark of possibility. Plan. But somewhere between growing up and giving up, life dimmed that fire. People doubted you. Responsibilities consumed you. Plan. Failures shook your faith. And slowly you stopped dreaming out loud. But here's the truth. Plan. Your dreams didn't die. They simply fell asleep within you. Plan. Waiting for the day you'd remember how deeply they mattered to you. You still carry them, you know. Those childhood ambitions. Plan. That artistic vision, that secret hope you've stopped speaking about. They live in the quiet moments. Plan. In the ache you feel when you see someone else doing what you once wished for yourself. It's not jealousy. It's memory. Plan. It's the echo of something sacred you once believed in. And it hurts, not because it's lost. Plan. But because it's still there, and you've convinced yourself it's too late. But it's not. It never was. Plan. Dreams don't disappear. They hibernate. They rest inside the soul like seeds under snow, waiting for warmth, for courage. Plan. For one decision to say, let's try again. You don't need to chase the world's approval or follow anyone's timeline. Plan. You just need to reconnect with the part of you that still believes, even if that belief has been buried under years of silence and survival. Plan. That part of you still exists. It's quieter now, but it's listening, hoping, longing for you to come back to yourself. Plan. So many of us mistake a delayed dream for a dead one. But the truth is, plan, life has seasons, and perhaps your season of blooming is yet to come. Plan. Maybe all this time you weren't failing, you were preparing. Maybe the waiting wasn't wasted, it was working. Plan. What you carry inside you is still alive. All it needs is for you to wake up, dust it off, and say, I remember now. Plan. I remember what I wanted, and I still want it. That we often hold ourselves back, not because we don't want change. Plan. But because we believe we must fix everything before we begin. We look at the mess around us, the broken pieces of our past. Plan. The unfinished goals, the fears that linger, and we feel overwhelmed. We say, Plan. I'll start when I'm stronger, when I'm ready, when I have it all figured out. But the truth is, this is per my plan. You'll never feel completely ready. Healing doesn't come after you fix everything. Healing comes when you dare to start. Plan. Even in the middle of the storm. You don't need to have a perfect plan. You don't need to be fearless or fully healed. Plan. What you need is one honest step, one decision to stop waiting and start moving. Maybe it's waking up a little earlier. Plan. Maybe it's writing the first line of that book. Plan. Maybe it's making the phone call you've been avoiding, or finally speaking the truth you've silenced for years. Plan. Starting doesn't mean doing it all. It means doing something. It means trusting that action, no matter how small. Plan. Carries power. Perfection is a lie we've been taught to chase, and in chasing it, we often end up paralyzed. Plan. We compare our first steps to someone else's final chapters and convince ourselves we're not good enough to even begin. Plan. But progress was never about perfection. It was about persistence. It's about choosing to walk, even when you feel broken. Plan. It's about saying, I don't have the whole path. Plan. But I'm willing to take the first step in faith. The beginning doesn't ask for brilliance. It only asks for bravery. Plan. When you begin, the path unfolds, the clarity comes, the strength grows. Plan. But none of that can happen if you stay stuck in the belief that you must be fixed. First. Plan. You are not a problem to be solved. You are a journey to be lived. And every journey, no matter how long or complicated, plan, starts with a single step. You don't need to conquer the mountain today. You just need to lace up your shoes and begin walking. Plan. That's where the real transformation begins. Not in waiting for everything to change. Plan. But in deciding that you will. Somewhere along the journey, we were made to believe that starting over is a sign of failure. Plan. That if we didn't get it right the first time, we were somehow less worthy. Plan. So we carry the weight of our past mistakes like chains. Plan. Convincing ourselves that we missed our chance, that new beginnings are reserved for the lucky, the perfect, or the chosen. Plan. But let me tell you something that the world often forgets. You have the right to begin again, not just once, not just twice. Plan. But as many times as it takes to become who you were always meant to be. Life isn't linear. Healing isn't a straight road. Plan. Growth doesn't happen in neat upward steps. Sometimes, plan. The most courageous thing you can do is admit that the path you were on is no longer right for you. And then choose a new one. Plan. Not because you failed, but because you've grown. And growth often requires release. Starting over isn't weakness. Plan. It's wisdom. It's saying, I deserve more than this version of my life. Plan. And I'm not afraid to go find it. You don't need anyone's permission to begin again. You don't need validation. Plan. Applause or approval, the quiet decision you make in the middle of the night. The one where you say, plan. I'm not staying here anymore. That moment is sacred. That moment is enough. Because beginnings aren't loud. Plan. They're gentle. They come in whispers, in tears, in the stillness after the storm. And often, plan. They're born the moment you stop seeking permission and start seeking truth. It doesn't matter how many times you've stumbled. Plan. Been rejected or lost your way. What matters is that you still have breath. You still have time. Plan. You still have the ability to choose again. Every sunrise is proof that life believes in second chances. And so should you. Plan. You're not running out of time. You're not too far gone. You are still becoming. And becoming takes time, grace. Plan. And the willingness to rise one more time. Plan. There comes a point when you have to stop letting your current circumstances define your worth. Plan. Maybe right now your story is filled with chaos, confusion, or quiet sadness. Maybe you're stuck in a cycle. The same routines. Plan. The same wounds. The same disappointments. But just because this is your current story doesn't mean it's your final one. Plan. You are not your lowest moment. You are not the silence of your waiting season. You are not the version of you that settled, plan, broke down, or gave up. You are the person within all of that, the one who still hopes, still aches, plan, still believes there's something more. And that version of you is better than this, plan. Sometimes we get so used to surviving that we forget what it means to truly live, plan. We start to believe the story that's playing on repeat in our minds. This is who I am now. But no, plan. That is who you've been. It is not who you are destined to be. There is so much more to you than what the world sees, plan. So much strength buried beneath your wariness. So much brilliance hidden behind your doubt, plan. Your current story may be one of survival, but the next chapter can be one of power, of freedom, of rebirth, plan. All it takes is the belief that you are not stuck. You are just standing still for now, plan. We often stay in the wrong chapters because we've grown comfortable with the pain. It becomes familiar, predictable, even safe, plan. But comfort is not the same as fulfillment. Familiarity is not the same as purpose. And when your soul starts whispering, plan, there must be more than this. That's not weakness. That's awakening, plan. That's the part of you that knows you were meant for more than just getting through the day. You were meant to build, to rise, plan, to create a life that reflects the fire inside you, not the fear outside you, plan. You don't have to erase your past to write a better story. You just have to turn the page. Plan. You have to stop rereading the same chapter out of guilt, shame, or habit. You are better than the story you've been told. Plan. Better than the limitations others placed on you. Better than the quiet suffering you've normalized. Plan. Your life is not over. It's unwritten. And the pen is still in your hand. Plan. All you need is the courage to start writing something new. So if no one has told you lately, let me be the one. Plan. You are allowed to be tired, but not to give up. You are allowed to break, but not to disappear. You are allowed to pause. Plan. But never to forget who you are. Because even in your quietest, most uncertain moments, plan, there is a fire within you that refuses to die. A voice that still whispers, plan. I am not finished yet. You don't need to wait for the world to believe in you. Plan. You don't need a perfect plan or flawless strength. All you need is a beginning, a breath, a choice. Plan. A whisper of courage in the middle of your fear that says, just wake up. You're better than this. So rise. Plan. Not because everything is fixed, but because you are finally ready to stop waiting for a perfect moment and start becoming the person you were always meant to be. Plan. The world is waiting. Your story is waiting. And most of all, you are waiting for yourself. Just wake up. It's time.